Hey, I'm Chyna.
And I'm Craig.
And this is our podcast, Story Not Story, where we tell you stories that we make up off the top of our heads live from our bed at night. These are your bedtime stories.
Yep. Well done.
Thanks.
Good intro.
A lot has changed since the last time we saw you. A lot has changed since the last time we saw you because I don't know that we've ever seen most of you.
I don't think I've seen you.
Yeah.
It's likely I haven't seen... Well, I've seen some of you probably.
Yeah. But, well, anyway, a lot has changed. We've got socials now. We got the soch.
Yeah, before this podcast, we weren't on social media at all.
Nope, but we are now.
We are now. Should we say our own personal socials?
Sure.
Well, on Twitter, I'm Wheezy Waiter.
I'm Chyna Grove everywhere, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, but we also now got a new Twitter account for this here podcast.
Yeah, and you tell them what it is because you set all that up. I don't know any of it.
It's Stories in Bed.
Stories in Bed.
Story Not Story was already taken. Story Not Story podcast is too long.
Oh, jeez.
So Stories in Bed is our Twitter.
I like it.
Yeah.
What's our Instagram?
Story Not Story podcast.
Okay, that makes sense because that's exactly the title and type of thing.
Exactly. And Story Not Story was already taken.
Oh,
so I added the podcast. But we also have storynotstorypodcast.com, which links to most of these things. And we have facebook.com/storynotstory. We have a YouTube channel, which we should probably link somewhere because it's a bunch of numbers and letters. But
oh, geez. Okay. Yeah. Well, if we can figure out how to make descriptions for these things on wherever you're listening to this podcast, we'll try to put it in there.
Yeah, or just...
We're kind of new to this, so we're figuring it out.
Or just search YouTube Story Not Story, and it'll probably come up once we blow up huge and we're super popular.
Oh, yeah. This is going to be so huge.
Or listen on iTunes where we're approved, or lots of places.
Yeah, we're figuring it all out, and you really only have to listen to us one place, though. Just find a place to listen to us, and you can just stick with that.
But Chyna,
yeah,
can you tell me a story?
Definitely. What do you want to hear a story about?
I want to hear a story about brigands.
Brigands?
Yes.
Oh boy, can you give me just your definition of a brigand?
A brigand is like a medieval time bandit.
Okay. Or
maybe even earlier than medieval time. I don't know the exact era of the brigand.
Okay.
But
I just wasn't 100% sure if this was like a pirate thing.
I imagine burly men in the wood, living in the woods.
Right.
But it could be women. I don't know. I'm not making the story, but
can you just stop telling the story?
Oh, sorry.
This is my job.
Okay.
Well, once upon a time, there was a kingdom.
Yeah.
That was ruled by a benevolent queen because it was super progressive, and she was like real awesome. She said let them eat cake, but she actually meant for dessert after their full...
Like literal cake?
Yeah, their actual cake after a full nutritious meal.
Wow.
Just as a treat for being such wonderful people in the community.
That sounds like a fun queen, but I don't know if that's good leadership or not.
Why?
Well, I mean, just eating all the time. I mean, things have to get done too.
Well, no. But after, it's dinner time.
Yeah.
And everyone has worked a really hard day in toiling in the fields, or perhaps smelting something.
Yeah. Okay. They did a lot of smelting back then.
Sure.
Yeah.
And now they've had a wonderful meal provided. Ingredients for it, and they and then the queen is like, oh, my royal bakers baked all these cakes and they're for you guys. It's a party to celebrate how wonderful you are and how great our land is because of your hard work.
She sounds like a really good queen.
It's an awesome place to live.
What's her name?
Queen.
She has a name, right?
She has a name. It's just it's slipping my mind. This was a real person though. Don't think that it wasn't.
Don't look on your phone.
No. It was Queen Susan.
Ah, Queen Susan.
Yeah.
Wow, just like the name of our old car we had.
Right.
In real life.
Yeah.
I mean, this might have been real life too. I don't know. But...
She was a real person.
Okay, this is historical.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll check the book out from the library for you.
Okay.
Okay. So, but one day, in the woods surrounding the kingdom, a band of brigands. Was they were out there.
I knew this was gonna happen.
You did?
I did.
Oh my goodness.
I think I read this story before.
Oh, okay. A band of brigands was out there, and they were conspiring to storm into the city at night and take all the leftover cake.
Oh my God, these are hungry brigands.
Well, they never get cake because they go and they rob and pillage and stuff. And they take like money and they steal people's chickens and their like hogs and stuff. But there's not really a lot of cake baking going on.
Yeah.
In medieval times.
But the land of Queen Susan, there's cake everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So they're...
What kind of cake is this?
I'm imagining it's sort of like a maybe like a
why are you imagining, isn't it?
Well, I haven't had it.
Oh, okay.
Historical records for cake are difficult to come by unless there's a written record of it.
Yeah, they're scant at best.
Yeah, it's not like it leaves a mark, you know. Jeez, Craig.
Oh. Let's not do this while we're recording.
I'm imagining that it's maybe some sort of like a rosemary infused like vanilla sponge cake, maybe with like fruit type thing in between the layers, like raspberry or strawberry or blueberry.
Oh my God.
Like fruity layer, and then awesome frosting.
Sounds great, although I prefer chocolate cake, but that sounds really, really good.
Well, she didn't bake it for you.
It's true.
This was a long time ago, and I don't even know if they had chocolate yet. So.
Okay, yeah. Chocolate comes from the cocoa bean, and who knows?
Maybe they didn't have cocoa beans.
Maybe they didn't. They probably didn't.
But it's my story, so they actually didn't have cocoa beans. That's why.
Okay.
Okay. So the brigands, they really wanted the cake, and they storm into the city at night. Well, no, let me take that back. They sneak into the city at night because everybody's asleep. If you storm in, people are going to wake up and start defending their cake.
That's true.
Who wouldn't? It sounds delicious.
It does.
So they sneak into the city at night.
Okay.
And they start peering into people's windows, looking for leftover cake.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they discover that the cake was so good that everybody just gobbled it all up and there's no leftovers. Like they find like a little sliver sitting out on a table at somebody's house, but a mouse is already eating it, and they're like, that's icky.
Huh.
Yeah. These brigands are they're really health conscious, so they don't want to get mouse-borne illnesses.
Health conscious brigands who are going after cake.
Well, they don't want diseases. They're not really worried about their like sugar intake though. Yeah.
Okay.
I know it doesn't make a lot of sense, but they're really complicated people, and they had a really long hard day, so they just need some comfort food, okay?
I understand.
Okay. So anyway, they go further and further into the city, and it's getting really dangerous now because they're getting closer to the castle, which is pretty well guarded.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they can't find any cake anywhere, and they're just so desperate for this little creature comfort that they're willing to risk getting caught.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're sneaking around, and then Toby, he's one of the brigands.
Okay.
The only one that gets a name, I think.
They don't. The other ones don't have names.
Well, we don't. We'll get to it.
How do they refer to the?
No, they have names. It's just not important for you to know them.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So Toby, he trips over a medieval rake.
Old Tumblin Toby.
That's what they call him.
Really?
Yeah. And he makes quite a racket.
Oh.
And candlelight starts coming on in all the windows.
Toby.
And the guards come running, and they're like, "Stop, ye brigands!" And the brigands are like, "Crap."
Okay.
But then they stop because they're caught.
Oh no.
And then Queen Susan comes out because she was still up. She was reading. She was really into the newest Harry Potter book, and she just couldn't put it down. Mm-hmm. So Queen Susan comes out.
What?
Let me tell the story.
Harry Potter.
So Queen Susan comes out.
How long ago was this?
It was like a really long time ago in medieval times, in like 2004.
Where is this kingdom located?
Let's not worry about it.
Okay.
So Queen Susan comes out, and she's like, "Now, guards, let's talk to these brigands because they must have a good reason for doing what they're doing." And the brigands are like, "Yeah, Queen Susan, we heard about the delicious cake that everybody got, and we just had a really long, hard day, and like we really wanted some cake, but we didn't see any to steal, so I'm so sorry." And then she's like, "Oh, that's it? You just wanted some cake? Aw, well, you know what I'm gonna do for you guys? Throw you in jail."
Yes.
And she puts them in the dungeon.
I was worried that she was going to be too easy on these brigands that were trying to steal from them, but I'm glad that this turned out the way it did.
She put them in the dungeon because they were trying to steal. But then she also made them a cake and sent it down because they were in the dungeon. She's a good queen.
Well, I guess they need
still
food.
In the dungeon.
They need food.
Yeah.
But cake, they didn't need
Well,
cake.
it wasn't as nice a cake.
Okay, what kind was it?
It was like angel food cake.
I don't really like angel food cake.
Yeah, it's really dense and kind of dry. And she didn't give them like the delicious strawberry stuff to go on top, so it was just pretty dry cake.
Those poor brigands. Now I'm thinking the punishment was too harsh.
No, but they were still really happy because gosh, some of them had never had any cake in their entire lives, and they just like rip the heads off chickens and eat them whole and raw.
Oh my god, they're like Ozzy Osbourne?
Well, it's not like a stage show. This is for sustenance.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Sometimes you can't light a fire.
Or was that a bat? I think that was Ozzy Osbourne. I don't remember.
It was a bat.
Okay.
Yeah, and he really did it too. He thought it was a fake bat, but it was a real bat.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
That is crazy.
Anyway, and so they got angel food cake, and they were happy about it, but they were also in the dungeon. The end.
Wow.
I'm proud of that one. I think that was really good.
What's it called?
The story?
Yeah.
It's called
Tumblin Toby and
the Cake Brigade.
Tumblin Toby and the Cake Brigade?
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Even though most of the story kind of features Queen Susan, but I like that the title,
I feel like it was like half set up and then half them sneaking in and getting caught. Yeah. It was a pretty well balanced story.
Tumblin Toby and the
Cake Brigade.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention at the beginning that we are asking people to make pictures.
Yeah, if you want to
our stories.
Illustrate our stories and submit them to us on our social media accounts that we already mentioned.
Yeah, you can submit them.
Or you can
submit them to Twitter, or you can submit them You could probably submit them and message us through Facebook. We also have an email, storynotstorypodcast@gmail.com.
.com. Yeah.
Yeah.
In case.
It's not a .gov.
Yeah.
No.
At gmail.co.uk.
Yeah.
No.
So then we'll take those and we might post them on our Facebook or our Instagram or both. Probably both.
Or neither if they're really bad.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, don't worry. If they're really bad, we just won't say anything.
Yeah. No. Well,
but that's not to say if we don't post it.
If we don't post it, that doesn't
mean it's bad.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Craig, do you want to tell me a bedtime story?
I do.
Okay.
I think I do. Yeah.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll just wait here until you decide whether you do or not.
Okay, hang on.
Okay.
Can I have some of that water over there?
No.
I'm going to have some water. That was you drinking the water, not me. Okay.
You have to make them hear it, otherwise they won't believe that you had water. Oh, gross. That sounded weird.
Okay.
Tell me a story about...
Okay, I'm ready to tell you a story.
Okay, I was just going to demand one.
Okay, all right.
Tell me a story about a... about a talking horse.
A talking course?
Horse.
A talking horse.
Yeah.
Well, I just so happen to know a story about a talking horse.
No, you don't.
I do.
Okay, but
I'm gonna
you
tell
realize we're supposed to make stories up.
I'm just pretending.
Okay.
So, well, there was this cowboy. Okay?
Uh-huh. What's his name?
Jeremy.
Jeremy the cowboy.
Yeah, his name. Why is that funny? His name was Jeremy. He was known as Old Jeremy.
Old Jeremy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Around the West.
Okay.
Because he had a reputation.
For being old?
Well, yes, even though he's only like 34 years old. But he had a reputation because old actually like originally the nickname Old Jeremy came from like there was this other guy named Jeremy who came around later. So they had to refer to Jeremy as Old Jeremy.
Okay.
But then the legend grew, and then everyone who's never met him thought he was just an old man.
Okay. Yeah. That's weird.
Yeah.
And people didn't live as long back then. I'm assuming it was back then.
Well, it was like 2004.
Okay. Both stories set in 2004 tonight.
It just so happens to be the case.
That's so weird.
Yeah. But old Jeremy lived in the West as a cowboy. He herds cattle.
Sure.
Here, I say herds. He herded cattle.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, no. This story is going to have a tragic ending.
You don't know that. He just herded cattle. Okay.
Okay. Maybe he retired.
Many things could have been possible. Who knows?
We'll find out. I hope.
Maybe we won't.
Okay.
So he herded cattle. He on a horse.
Sure.
And he got a reputation as Old Jeremy around the West because people heard about him because of this particular horse that he rode. The horse's name was Kevin.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not Jeremy didn't name the horse. The horse named itself. What? It was a talking horse. You didn't see that coming.
No, I didn't. That's impossible. Horses can't talk.
Well, this one day, see Jeremy, Old Jeremy, not the new Jeremy.
Okay, yeah, we're not really talking about him at all.
No.
I will just assume when you say Jeremy, you're
we're not even going to mention new Jeremy.
Okay.
So Old Jeremy was out herding some cattle, doing some cattle herding. And and then one of them cattles went off into the woods
Oh, no.
And he had to go get it.
Oh.
So he made sure all the other cattle got in the fence, so they were contained.
Sure.
Then he had to take his horse out into the woods to find this little cattle that was out there in the woods.
Little singular cattle.
Yeah. Singular cattle. And so they go out into this woods. Now, he's never been in this woods before.
He hasn't?
No. In fact, he was instructed to never go into these woods.
Whoa.
Because there was this old man, actually old.
Okay.
His name was Man.
Oh.
Everyone called him Old Man because there was another man, and so it was newer, but they called him Old Man. But he was actually old, and he went into that woods once and never came back.
Wait, old man did?
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
Mm-hmm. And so everyone was told to never go into those woods.
Wait, okay, so one person goes into the woods and then disappears, and now, like, the woods are banned? Like, don't go into these woods because they're clearly very dangerous because one time a person disappeared in them. Like, you would never be able to go anywhere again.
It's a very superstitious part of the West.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'm on board. Continue.
It's very stupid. Very superstitious. I almost said stupid. That wasn't stupid. There was no. Very superstitious. And rightfully so. They could see, like, at night they could hear sounds from these woods. They could hear.
Yeah, it was probably like coyotes and stuff that is in woods. These people are dumb.
No.
Oh, they're not.
No, these were weird sounds. These were crazy sounds.
Can you give me an example?
Well, so
I want you to make the sound. I'm
going to.
Okay.
Like once in a while a person would stroll past the woods and they would hear "I'm a bird. Don't come into these woods." Or "I'm a squirrel. Don't come into these woods." Okay.
I'm really not picking up the warning, though. It just sounds
like... Or you will die.
It just sounds like there's birds and squirrels.
But they're talking.
Yeah, but it's just a bird.
A talking bird. And then they said, "Or you will die."
Well, yeah, but...
If you were thinking about walking into woods, and you heard something say, "Don't come in or you will die."
Sure.
You probably wouldn't go in. At night, in the dark.
Well, it depends.
You wouldn't. Anyways.
Okay, continue. Okay, but the horse talks.
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, spoiler. Even though I already said that the horse... a little flash forward earlier in the story. But...
Okay.
So...
Got it.
So, but he has to go into the woods to get his cattle, because there's a cattle show the next day, and he told him he had 23 cattle, and now there's only 22 in his pen, and that he just would be disqualified from the cattle show.
Sure. Yeah, they're really sticklers for numbers.
Well, this particular cattle show, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you say you have 23 and you don't bring 23, you're branded a liar.
Yeah.
So he goes into the woods with his horse, and he finds the cattle. Mm-hmm. But the cattle's like, "Stop it! Don't come near me!" And he's like, "What? You're talking! You are a talking cattle! Oh my God!"
What is the singular for cattle?
Cattle.
It is?
Probably, or maybe cattle is only exclusively a plural word. And I should be saying what particular brand of cattle it is.
Maybe.
But I don't want to.
Okay. Cows are just girls, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or is a cow like a general term?
A cow is a female. Yeah.
Man, cow politics are so Complicated.
I wouldn't call it politics necessarily.
So political.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Politics.
Politics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
the cow talks.
Yeah. The cattle.
The cattle talks. I'm sorry.
The cattle talks and says, "Don't come near me." And then he's like, "Whoa, you can talk." He's like, "Yeah, and I don't want to go to this stupid cattle show tomorrow." He's like, "Why not? You're parading me around like cattle." Duh, old Jeremy says, and he says, I don't even think Kevin likes it. He's like, "What? What are you talking about? Who's Kevin?" And the horse is like, "Murray." He sounds like a cow kind of when he talks, but he's a horse.
That's really unfortunate. All the other talking animals got fairly normal voices.
They all kind of sound like me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but well, he's just starting. This is like his first. Oh,
he's learning. That was his first word.
It was his first word. And then, so then the cattle says, "Look, I'll do your stupid cattle show if you just let me live in these woods from now on. And I want you to." So this cattle show. Let me back up a little. This cattle show is very important to Jeremy. He has to win this cattle show because he's trying to win the heart of Genevieve.
Sure.
And if he doesn't win this cattle show, well, he thinks anyway, he's trying to impress her, and if he doesn't win it, she's gonna go away.
So he just assumes that she's really shallow.
Yes.
Okay.
With Bart.
Bart.
Yeah. Who's a rich guy from other side of town.
I see.
And he needs to win this thing. And the cattle is like, "Listen, I'll do your stupid thing, but I just got to thinking about the story of Queen Susan and her cake, and I got really hungry." He's like, "You want cake? I'll get you some cake." And he says, "No, I don't want cake. I want you to kill new Jeremy, and I want you to feed him to me."
What?
Yeah.
That is a huge and mystifying twist. Why? What did new Jeremy ever do to that singular cattle?
That cattle has been paraded around by humans its whole life.
Why? But new Jeremy, he just got here. He's new.
He's not that new. He's just newer than old Jeremy.
What did he do to the... Why not, eat old Jeremy, who's parading him about?
New Jeremy... He was one of the only other humans that the cattle knows, really.
Okay, so it just picked it wants to eat a human. It has a taste for flesh.
Yeah.
And...
Yeah.
This is creepy. Okay, well, does he do it?
Well, he leaves with Kevin. He rides Kevin out of the woods, and then he asks Kevin if he should, and Kevin doesn't say anything because they're not in the woods anymore and he can't talk anymore.
Oh, I can only talk in the woods.
And then old Jeremy realizes he has to decide on his own. Is the love of Genevieve important enough? And so what he does is he... I'm just deciding how dark I want to go. Well,
oh no.
He's on his way over to New Jeremy, still deciding. He's not sure.
Oh
right?
Gosh.
And then along the way he sees Bart.
Uh-huh.
And so what?
Oh no.
What?
Is he gonna kill Bart and feed Bart to the cattle? To the singular cattle? I really don't think I think cattle is just a plural.
I don't know. Well, he sees Bart, and Bart yells over at old Jeremy. It's like, "Oh, hey there, idiot!" Bart is not a nice man and hates old Jeremy because he knows about his feelings for Genevieve. They both like Genevieve.
Wow.
He called him an idiot.
If Genevieve picks this Bart guy, that's some. I mean, he's really showing his true colors right now.
So here's what happens. Old Jeremy rides up to Bart, gets off Kevin, and goes over to Bart and said, I may be an idiot, but I'm an idiot in love. And Bart is like, to be clear, you're referring to Genevieve, not me, right? You're not in love with me. He's like, yeah, no, I'm in love with Genevieve. And he's like, oh, okay. And he punches old Jeremy.
Whoa.
Genevieve's mine. And Kevin kicks Bart. Bart goes flying, hits his head and dies.
Oh my goodness.
So, old Jeremy picks up Bart, takes him to the cattle, says, here's new Jeremy. He says, no, that's not new Jeremy, that's Bart. But cattle knows, apparently. And he says, well, what's the difference? And he's like, you're right. And then the cattle gobbles up Bart and then goes back into the pen, and old Jeremy does the show, gets second place. He doesn't win. Because his cattle just wasn't quite good enough.
Sure.
But
that's fair. The judges were fair then.
Yeah, and sweeps Genevieve off her feet. They go out on a date. Turns out she's not that interested in Star Wars, and that's kind of a deal breaker. So they don't get together.
Aw, they should have just waited it out until the new Star Wars came out.
Well,
because The Force Awakens could have changed her mind.
No, yeah, but they didn't know about that at the time.
Yeah, but oh man, wait. Okay, so it doesn't work out.
Well, it didn't.
Between them.
It didn't.
Okay.
Then
that's okay though. It doesn't always have to work out.
No, it doesn't. Eventually, old Jeremy starts making movies with talking animals in them in the woods, and becomes a famous Hollywood producer, and quits his cowboy job and moves to Hollywood.
Okay.
But after moving to Hollywood, he fails because without the talking animals, he's terrible.
Oh, right.
So he moves back home, and then the new Star Wars comes out, and Genevieve likes it, and then they get back together.
They do.
Happily ever after.
Wow.
Until, well, who knows what happens later.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. The next Star Wars isn't out. Maybe that'll change everything back for her.
It might.
Oh, geez. Well, that was great.
Thanks. Thank you. So Kevin said one thing. He said me. But
yeah, you really you technically included a talking horse in this story.
Yeah, I did. And it's called the story's called Old Jeremy and His Talking Horse.
Who definitely talks a lot. Throughout the whole story.
No, that's not part of the title. It's Old Jeremy and the Talking Horse Who Wouldn't Quit. That's what it's called.
But not wouldn't quit talking because he hardly starts.
Right, but that's not part of the title.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Old Jeremy and the Talking Horse That Wouldn't Quit. That's my story. I hope you enjoyed it.
That's great.
I think it's one of my best stories I've ever told.
Okay. It was great. Awesome. Well, we hope that our stories have lulled you into
a state of bliss.
Where you now feel cozy and comfortable, hopefully also in your bed, and you can drift off to a relaxing sleep. While we're still here, though, let's remind you again that we got socials now. We're on the soch.
We're social.
We're social mediating on Twitter at what?
Stories in bed.
Stories in bed.
Yes.
And Story Not Story podcast on Instagram. Story Not Story podcast on Facebook.
Nope. Story Not Story on Facebook.
On Facebook, it's all different.
I think. Maybe I have to double check that.
I don't know. We'll tell you next time. And then also we we enjoy coming up with these suggestions here for each other to tell stories. But if you guys have a topic that you would like us to make up a story about, why don't you tweet it to us at Stories in Bed on Twitter, or send us an email. What's our email address?
storynotstorypodcast@gmail.com. Yeah, and it is, I double check, Story Not Story on Facebook. And you can also leave if you want to tell us a story suggestion, or just tell us you like us, you could comment on iTunes or rate us on iTunes. That would help.
Yeah, rate us on iTunes. Mm-hmm. I want to be the number one bedtime story podcast. That's my goal.
Told from bed.
Told from bed. Mm-hmm. With a husband and wife.
I think this is the best. Well, this was the best, probably Brigade story and talking horse story ever to be put to record.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Anything else?
I think we're golden.
Okay. Well, then.
Thanks for listening.
All right.
If you made it this far, thank you. I hope, or if we lulled you to sleep, and I'm talking in your dreams now. Oh, look out for the elephant!
There's a ghost.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Good night.
Good night.